And thanks for joining us at 5 on this Monday. I'm Anne Marie Tiernan with Scott Swan in for Felicia tonight. And we start tonight at 5 with a case of a local man who's accused of killing a poker player from Westfield.
The suspect went before a judge in the last 2 hours. And tonight our Ella Rhodes shares what she learned during that court hearing in Hamilton County.
The Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office filed a murder charge and a firearm enhancement charge for 50-year-old Ronald Brown Jr. in the death of poker player James Matt Lucien. The probable cause affidavit says evidence points to a pattern of premeditation to intentionally kill Lucien.
This is a difficult moment for our community, but our message is clear. If you commit a crime like this in Westfield, we will use all available resources to ensure you are held accountable.
According to the probable cause affidavit, Westfield police showed up to Lucien's home for a welfare check. That's where they found Lucien on the kitchen floor with multiple gunshot wounds and found 3 shell casings around the body. The PC says his body was cold to the touch. Inside the home, detectives found around 10 pounds of marijuana and more than $15,000 in cash. In the probable cause affidavit, investigators found that Lucien and Brown Jr. allegedly knew each other. Someone referred to them as business partners. Later in the probable cause affidavit, it says that Lucien was supplying Brown Jr. with marijuana to sell. The affidavit says the pair played poker together, and RB also owed Lucien money.
We have some theories about motive. It's circumstantial at this point.
The affidavit says the murder of James Lucien by Ronald Brown Jr. would have erased the debt or need to pay back the front that Lucien provided to Brown. The night before the murder, investigators found Brown rented a black Dodge. Ring camera video shows the car with a missing or covered license plate too. The affidavit says this vehicle passes by the victim's residence 3 times in a matter of 13 minutes, which is consistent with criminal behavior of scoping out a residence. 2 weeks after Lucien's death, police arrested Brown, who just made his first court appearance on Monday.
I also want to point out that Hamilton County is and remains a safe place to live.
Brown's pretrial hearing is scheduled for May. In Hamilton County, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.
In the meantime, Brown is being held without bond. This is an ongoing investigation, and the police in Westfield say they would like to hear from you if you have any information about this case.
Tonight at 5, the Marion County coroner is now identifying an 8-year-old girl who died when the driver of a car hit her on the near east side of Indianapolis. This crash happened around 5 Saturday night near 12th and Rural. Officers found Kalia Dykes in critical condition, but she later died at the hospital. IMPD says the driver stayed at the scene of that crash and is now cooperating with this investigation. They have not yet said what led up to the crash.
Tonight, Metro Police say that they've released the person that they detained early this morning after they found a man shot on a rural street near the state fairgrounds. Police say the shooting happened around 4 this morning on Kingsley Drive, that's near East 43rd. He went to the hospital in critical condition, and that's where he later died. At this hour, we're waiting to hear from the Marion County coroner to identify the victim.
A Johnson County judge will now sentence a man in May after a jury found him guilty of attacking his wife and 3 stepchildren. The jury found Robert Venata guilty of 14 counts, including strangulation, domestic battery, and criminal recklessness. Court documents stated that he showed up at a hotel in Greenwood looking for the family who were trying to get away from him last March. Detectives say he rammed their car when they left that hotel. His teen stepson said Venata pulled him out of the car and attacked him. That's when he stabbed his stepfather. Venata faces up to 20 years in prison.
4 times in the last 3 months. That's how many times firefighters were called out to this home that's located on the near east side of Indianapolis.
And today, another fire destroyed this duplex on State Avenue. IFD says no one was injured today, but neighbors tell us this is a recurring problem and they're getting fed up.
Our Alex Almanza talked to one of those neighbors who says if it wasn't for a knock on the door, this whole situation could have been a whole lot worse.
Neighbors say this abandoned duplex on State Avenue near New York Street has been a problem for years. Overrun by squatters and a growing safety concern, neighbors say that concern escalated when a fire this morning could have injured several people, including children. Claudia Santana, her husband, and their 2 kids were fast asleep when they heard banging on their door at 4 in the morning.
Get out! Get out the house!
A neighbor alerting them to a fire that was consuming a separate duplex. They ran out the back door. Thankfully, no one was hurt. but they say this has been a constant issue. The Indy Fire Department says they're constantly being called out here, squatters coming in and out. This time the fire was big enough to melt the siding of Santana's home. She says it was traumatizing.
I just don't want to, even imagine that happening to our family. So I'm very grateful that the neighbor was able to wake us up and that the firefighters got here on time and they were able to control the fire. But it does anger me so much that, these things happen and, it's just sad.
The Indianapolis Fire Department says they're investigating the fire. Coming up at 6, hear from the person who woke up Santana's family and why she says she's on the verge of moving out. In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
IFD told Alex they got that fire under control in just under an hour and that their crews utilize a defensive operation only because of previous fires there compromising the structural integrity of that building.
We had a warm start to the work week. Lots of sun and clouds out there right now, but boy, it was warm and windy too, Angela.
Yes, very windy. We've been tracking wind gusts over 30 miles per hour most of the day.
Right.
You mentioned the sun and the clouds. What we don't have, rain yet.
Okay, that's coming.
It is coming, so make sure you dig out the umbrella and the rain gear. We're going to need it off and on for the week ahead. Nice views across central Indiana from Bunker Hill to Carmel. I do want to point out our camera at Morris Reservoir. You can see the flag is definitely flying. We've got strong winds across central Indiana. That is one thing that we're keeping an eye on at this hour. Temperatures right now in the 70s, middle and upper 70s for most of us. We're at 75 Indianapolis, 74 Kokomo, 75 Crawfordsville, and 76 degrees in Bloomington. Terre Haute nearing 80 right now, 79 degrees currently. Some sun, some clouds, no rain on radar. That will be changing, just not tonight or early tomorrow. So nothing weather-wise to slow you down out the door for our Tuesday. It's going to be a mild morning. Temperatures tomorrow morning in the low to mid 60s. We will wrap up our Tuesday with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. Windy and warm again tomorrow, even warmer than what we had today. We'll talk about rain and storm chances in the forecast for the week ahead in a few minutes.
All right, see you in a little bit, Angela. Thanks. And we want to remind you that you can stream our new live local radar 24/7. This is where you can track the rain as it rolls in tomorrow, and you can check the forecast whenever you want. Just download our free streaming app, WTHR Plus, on your TV.
Residents and businesses on the west side of Indianapolis at this hour concerned about a major construction project.
Yeah, we're talking about closing the 16th Street Bridge over the White River for 2 years. We've got Jenna Webster joining us in studio tonight, and boy, this project is generating lots of discussion online.
Yeah, more than 1,000 people have signed a petition as of tonight. They're not necessarily against this project. They understand the bridge needs some repairs, but they want DPW to rethink closing the bridge for the whole time for construction, maybe do some different kind of closures.
Yeah.
Since 1946, the 16th Street Bridge has welcomed drivers between downtown and Speedway. It's seen a lot of traffic over the years and is showing its age. DPW is set to start rehabilitation work on the historic bridge in June, bringing 2 years of closure and bringing concern for people living and working in the area.
When the mini marathon is around, they close down the streets. That cuts our business by at least 20% on that day. So you think about if they close down this street, the main street that we use, then that'll take that off our business every day. And that's just not something that we want.
Long's Bakery is one of more than 1,000 who signed a petition asking DPW to keep one lane each way open during construction. DPW says a full closure was recommended in part because of the utility work happening in the bridge deck. It's asked contractors to investigate if any alternatives are feasible.
Now, one of the concerns that comes up over and over in that online petition is the 30th Street Bridge project. If you live in that area, you know what we're talking about. That was slated to take 2 years, but it just finally reopened after 4 years of construction. DPW says they actually delayed starting construction on the 16th Street Bridge while that one was ongoing because they wanted to prevent any problems for drivers. But residents in this area, businesses in that area say if that one took 4 years, who's to say that there might not be some delays with this one?
Do we think that there's an alternative in terms of how to handle the 16th Street Bridge construction?
I mean, it needs construction.
Yeah.
There's no denying that, but DPW does say that they are investigating any other timelines, what might be feasible, but they did say the recommendation was a full closure.
Okay, Jenna, thank you so much.